Good morning, good morning, good morning. You find me here in beautiful South Wales, on the Gower Peninsula to be precise, because later on today I will be running 23 miles with about 1,000 metres of ascent along the southwest coastal path, all the way from Rhossili Bay back to the Mumbles. Come with me for the journey. Chuffed to bits. Isn't it amazing? Buns of steel and liver transplant, sand. Yeehaw! We met up yesterday evening at the Mumbles for the compulsory kit check, and then this morning we've got a coach over here. We're now just waiting for the event briefing, and then we're heading off down the coastal path. The Gower Peninsula was the UK's very first area of outstanding natural beauty. It's easy to see why, isn't it? So the course divides up quite neatly into 4 6-mile chunks, and this first one, I'll put a map up for you, but the first one is mainly cliff top running. So I'm looking forward to limestone cliffs, seabirds and beautiful views. Let's go. I see this very much as a dress rehearsal for Beachy, which means I'm not here to lay it all out on the line. I'm here to manage fueling and running and walking, manage that in such a way that I can cope with everything that this wonderful coastline throws at me, and I'm still in a position to run across that finish line in about, in my guess, 5.5 hours time. Let's see how we go, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. Somewhere near here is a place called Fort Thurber, which is an Iron Age fort. There's 34, 35 Iron Age forts all over the Gower Peninsula. Let me stick a map up for you. And in case you've forgotten how long ago the Iron Age was, Iron Age was about 600 BCE to about 100, so that sort of 700-year period, just over 2,000 years ago. So, we're only 2 miles in. So coming up that hill, my heart rate's in the 160s, which is generally the same as me on the flat doing 10k pace, and I'm just walking, so that tells me I'm eating into a lot of my glycogen energy. I need to make sure I steady it and keep eating plenty and drinking. There's a beautiful field of Welsh black cattle, another incredibly successful beef breed. In fact, they're really dual purpose. Like Wales is equivalent to the Scotland's Aberdeen Angus. They've been used to farm in all sorts of parts of the world. Ooh. A thing of note round here, a cave called the Paviland Cave, and Paviland Cave, they say, is one of the most important archaeological sites in Europe, if not the world. And I bet you've never heard of it. I'll tell you why in a minute. So the reason the Paviland Cave is important is in the 1820s they found some human bones. Wrong way, you think?
I'm coming, just keep going, Graham.
Gorse. So as I was saying before we realised we'd got lost, or we'd taken the wrong route, right now at least I'm running with a group of others. So they found these bones stained red in the 1820s, and they dubbed them the Red Lady of Paviland. And typical Victorian, they decided that she was Roman and that she was either a witch or a prostitute. Later on, however, they did some further analysis on the bones and they found out that she was not Roman. She wasn't 2,000 years old. She wasn't even a she. It was a man in his 20s. And how old do you think the bones were? 2,000? 10,000? 20,000? 31,000 years old. Imagine that. The earliest ever recorded example of ceremonial burial in Europe. Right here on the Gower Peninsula. These cliffs on the left, I think the Overton cliffs. This is a very old limestone quarry from a couple of thousand years ago, and they used to quarry out the limestone, and then burn it in kilns. Used to use as a fertiliser to counteract acid soils. So this quarry was for making 2,000-year-old fertiliser. And not only do they make it here, but the South Welsh used to take it across the water there and sell it to those foreigners in North Devon. Because what you can see over there is Ilfracombe. And that was probably one of the lime kilns. We're now heading down to Point Eynon Bay, which I hope I've pronounced right. It's a shame, it's like the total coastal run that I did back at the start of 2022. The downs, a lot of the downs just aren't runnable, but hey ho. Checkpoint number 1. So the heart rate's just done its usual thing. We are nearly 2 hours in. It just shot up to 169, so that tells me that I'm probably ending my glycogen. So just a little walk and shoved in a boost. And it's now a case of making sure I put in all the calories I want to use, preferably before I need to use them. It is slightly disheartening that we're only at 8 miles at 2 hours, but we're over a third of the way, which means 5.5 to 6 hours is about right if it stays as hard as this, and I'm reliably informed it will do. And we just hope I've got enough snacks to last me for another 4 hours. Can't couple of 100 calories every half hour from now. I do have 2 secret bags of jelly babies, but I'm keeping them till later because they add a great mental boost as well. And as they always say, food is mood. If you let yourself get hungry, then your mood drops, and then it's so much harder. So now well into the second 10k, which, as you can see, has some significant ups and downs in it as well, but it also takes us past 2 lovely bays. So this one will take us up to about 13 miles. So the legs are heavy, but the head's all right, so that's all good. Up there we got more limestone cliffs. I think we're near Oxwich Point, so there's a nature reserve and probably another fort or something up there. I think it's a castle as well around here somewhere. Not the well-known Pennard castle, we'll see that later, but another one anyway. 10 miles in, just had a Snickers. Not a bad place to run round on a Saturday, is it? Let's go. This is the next compulsory clip. So using this you have to either clip your number clipped. Nearly 11 miles. I think we've got the next checkpoint coming up soon. Garmin recommends that I do 10 flights of stairs a day, keep myself fit. Well, this morning I'd hit my 10 flights before I'd even left the hotel. I wonder how many I'll have done by the time I finish this. That's about a quarter of a mile of steps. Heart rate 170. And I'm being overtaken by people who've already run 38 miles. I might have to admit that maybe I am getting old. And what makes this particularly entertaining is that we're about to turn a corner and pretty much go straight back down again to rejoin the coastal path that we've just left. Ooh. And now we come down to Oxwich Bay. Sea, surf, sand, salt marsh, dunes and shops. What more do you want? Oh, ice cream, obviously. And the second checkpoint. Chance to fill the water bottle. Have something to eat. But now we're running on this Oxwich Bay. Beautiful. Slightly reminiscent of the 10 base challenge, eh, Jackie Hart? Sand's nice and firm down here at the water's edge. And we're going to run round to the end. And then we're going to cut up when we've got our third clip point. And then I'll tell you all about the third 10k that we're going to have to do. So we're over halfway for me, which is nice. Ooh. When you're doing 12:45 a mile and your heart rate's 180, I think you definitely are being told something about having run out of energy. So I'm just going to walk for a little bit. So where's home to you?
So I live in Bridgend now, but I'm from Hereford originally. Alright.
People always do that when you point the camera up.
Yeah, so
view. Take a look.
That was evil. There's a nice view of the bay. We're just hitting the third section, the third 10k, and it says back up to the top. Yeah, indeed. And then mostly cliff top paths, possibly the hilliest section. Crikey, hillier than we've done already. I'm not sure I can cope. You might find that I'm doing a lot of walking between now and then. So 9 miles still to go. So running down soft sand was an awful lot easier than running up it or walking up it. But we're now back up again. Oh crikey, right up there. I'm pretending I'm stopping to take a view of the bay. Yeah. Coming up to 16 miles, we've just had another checkpoint. So 7 miles to go still, which I don't really want to think about. Penman Burrows, so a sand dune-y kind of place. It's salt marsh, I guess, over there near the cattle mooing away. And up on the top of the hill, I don't know if you can see it, that's Norman Castle, built in the 1100s after William the Conqueror and his merry boys invaded Wales. You're joking. Not another hill up soft sand. My God, that's cruel. Pardon my French, but blooming heck, this is brutal. Was it worth the view? Well, let's have a look. Yeah, we're still on sand. We're going up there. And more. I think I'm on the wrong path. I think I need to be just over there. But what are we now? 17.5. Nearly there. I'm well into my supply of emergency jelly babies now. Final checkpoint at Southgate, and it's about 6 miles to go from here. That beautiful bay that we just looked at. How do you pronounce it? It's pronounced Pwlldu. Pwlldu. Here we go. Not Pwlldu. Pwlldu. Here we go, final clip done. My watch is 19.5 miles, but the book suggests we've got another 5 or so to go, so this might end up being a 25 miler, which will be fun. My notes on the next section, I'll stick it up on the screen for you. It says final 5 miles, cliff tops, should get views of lovely bays and some testing climbs. It won't be a surprise, will it? Ooh. Right, so we can jog a bit downhill. Whee! I did run for a bit, promise. And then rocks and gorse got in the way. Currently at 5 3/4 hours, just keeping you in there, so it must be about 4:45 in the afternoon. I am knackered. It just went slightly wrong again, so another little bit of time added on, but we're definitely on the right track now. More hills. Oh, sand, lovely. This is beautiful Caswell Bay, very popular with surfers, stand-up paddleboarders, kayakers and families. So what it says, 6 hours 40 minutes so far, 22 miles for me. I think we've probably added an extra mile, but there are worse places to spend your day, aren't there?
Sunset.
Yeah. Here's another beautiful bay. This is called Langland Bay. Another blue flag beach. Very popular with surfers. There's a few out there now, and suppers and kayakers and beach huts. As the sun sets over the beautiful Langland Bay, hopefully we've just got another half mile or so to go. But in case I get too beguiled by that, where I'm going, path goes up and we're going to be at the top of that in a minute. Oh.
Well done.
Thank you. So nearly there, I hope. 7 1/4 hours, just over 24 miles so far. So the watch says, and I have walked half, the last half, but I don't know what else I could have done. I think it's just where my fitness is right now. And quite frankly, that's nothing to be ashamed of. I hear whooping. I think the cricket pub is just the other side of that hedge. It ain't going to be a sprint finish, but I will run over the line. Here we go. All these people who finished already. Cheers, fella. Ooh. As we head over the Prince of Wales Bridge, leaving Wales, heading towards sunny Hertfordshire, I've had a chance to think, and I thought I'd share my reflections with you. How do I feel about it this morning? Well, I'm not as stiff and achy as I might have been. That could be because I didn't run all of it. So how do I feel? Well, on one side of the coin, I feel very disappointed on several things. I feel disappointed that it took me 7.5 hours and I didn't even do a marathon. I feel disappointed that I was absolutely knackered going up those hills, the sandy ones in particular. And I feel disappointed that later on I really could only walk. I found it really hard to summon up any energy, mental or physical, to actually run some of those later sections. On the flip side of the coin, there are many positives. I walked for 7.5 hours. That's the longest period I've done that for many, many years. I did cover 24 miles. Parts of it were really difficult. Parts of it, like those sandy climbs, you really had to dig in. The mental effort to do it was huge. Running trails and this kind of distance in particular, it's very much, you know, 50% mental and the rest is all in your head. Someone else I saw on YouTube said that these kind of races are just you against you. So yes, I am very pleased in many ways. I can be very proud in many ways. There's still a lot of work to do, as there always is in these things. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, brilliant. Do come along for the next ride. Do all the subscribey, notification bell, like things if you want to. Otherwise, thank you ever so much for coming with me, sticking this video out this long, and I very much look forward to seeing you all on another run.